All right, so what's good, everybody? We're with Kobe James right now, music producer. Um, so like to give everyone some context, Kobe, can you just tell everyone who you are and like what you do?
Yeah. So my producer name is Vollarti, Vollarti, and I produce beats and I run a business. The business is called Vollarti, which is a LLC, a limited liability company. And my business teaches people how to make beats. I sell beats to artists, and I also run ads and stuff for different businesses.
For sure, man. I feel across the whole music industry, especially today, not only are the rappers kind of like the pinnacle or the focal point of the song, but there's so many people around that are so important, as well as the producer, the lyricist. You know, there's so many things that go into the music video. Like one of the things that I kind of look into is Lyrical Lemonade with Cole Bennett. He's extremely popular. He makes the music videos, and you can arguably say he's probably more popular than a lot of high-end rappers nowadays because he produces dope videos. Same thing with music producers.
Yeah, for sure. Because one of the main reasons that he's very popular over certain artists and certain producers are more popular over artists would be branding. Your brand is super important. Your brand is like your name, your business. So for me, Velarde, that's my producer name, but it's also a brand. And that's super important because people will just make music with the name, right? They got a tag on it, producer tag, or they, you know what I'm saying, some type of music with their name, and they don't really understand that the business side is really what draws people's attention, the promotion, the marketing, the music, the product is good, but you could have amazing product and not get noticed at all. So I think that that's like very important, the thing that a lot of musicians and business people miss. So they're able to run these, they're able to, get this exposure because they have these connections. But a lot of labels and stuff like that, when artists sign to labels, there's a specific part about it, which is distribution deals, but there's also promotion too as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree because, let's be real. There's definitely a lot of good other music producers, people who like make the music videos, rappers. But if you have a dope personality and you know people, you build a network, you're gonna get into the game. It's not like what you know, is who you know. And if you kind of establish those connections, you can be like a huge inspiration or huge rapper in the rap game. Um, if you deep dive into YouTube, you can probably find really dope rappers that are unheard of, but they're not in the game, and they're just having that shot, having that luck, that connection. There's so many variables, I think, in the music industry.
Definitely. Yeah. And like, that's like the thing about it. Like, um, what I do is, I do promotions on all of the sites that I use, and it is the most slept on things by, let me put it this way. It's the most slept on things by people who don't know anything about marketing. So since they don't know, they're coming at it from a sense of just seeing whatever their eyes see on Instagram, and they're like, oh, they have those views because they're famous. People like are really missing it. It's not because of that. I just started my Instagram page. I grew like 600 followers in about 3 months from advertising. Now people would tell me, okay, well, that's not real followers. It is. If you, it's I'm not paying somebody like those scammers who
Yeah,
take your
you're not
money.
buying followers, basically.
I'm not getting bot. I'm not getting bot followers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
A robot and paid for followers. What I'm getting is, or it's promoted, but then they're staying, and that becomes organic. You know, because I guess you could say like it's promoted, so it's not like, say, if you just do your tags without promotion, it's not like 100% organic. But the whole purpose of these platforms is to expose yourself through, and the marketing tools that they have, changing your personal Instagram account to a business account. A lot of people don't understand that. and professional creator account or whatever it is for Instagram, and then you can promote yourself. You just have to figure out where you are, what country you're in, what country people speak your language. You know, you figure out what people really watch this. I'm pretty sure some women, like you're thinking, some women wouldn't watch some certain thing, and you just kind of weed out the stuff and see how the promotion goes for you. And it's a very easy process, but a lot of people are asleep on it, and they're saying that the followers are they're not real. They are, so they're not bot, but they're promoted. So I promoted, and people chose to follow me. That's the
Mm-hmm.
point. That's not fake. I didn't ask them to follow me. They followed me because they like my content. So that's the part that people miss, that they could be getting hundreds of followers and thousands of views right now.
Mm-hmm.
One of my views has 60,000 views. You know.
I feel like if you post on Instagram and you have like the right hashtag, of course you can kind of target like your audience in that respect, right? But like, you know, everyone says it's true that Instagram, the reach or like organic reach is really low, and you have to pay to play. And like you said, you don't like, it's really bad to buy bots because you're going to get no engagement. Of course you can have followers, you can have that huge number of followers, but those connections aren't real. And if you want to be the number one producer in the world, then those bot producers are not gonna, or those bot followers are not gonna help you out. With those Facebook ads, I think, like from my understanding, is you kind of just target the people that you think are gonna be down with your content and like it. Because if you just post it organically, those guys who are gonna potentially like your content that weren't targeted are not gonna find you. So you kind of have to pay to play to find that people and build a community around the target audience that you want.
Exactly. And people are, the hashtags are smart. I still use them because it's very smart. That's also part of the algorithm of social media sites to put hashtags and stuff like that. I also do it for my YouTube channel too. I run Google ads. I mean, it's business. And
Mm-hmm.
if people are like, if they really are, the mindset of people, I come across a lot of people who are really like happy to meet me or see my video, and I come across some people who are very negative. They're like, oh, this is that, this is so boring, this is this is this is too simple. But I've heard so many producers that I've talked to, and they say rappers, like the big rappers, sometimes they love simple beats. They don't want all that hype stuff, because when you think about it, an artist is an instrument themselves on the beat, flowing and flipping over the beat with their words. When they push out air, and the hi-hats, do their thing, and the kicks to really make it a completed song. So it depends, because I still make high quality, like not high quality, like complex beats too. But I understand the game and like how these artists really want stuff. And so I understand that there's a mindset people have. People are always there. There are certain people that will always stay where they are, unfortunately, because they see things in a negative point of view. And the only way to feel good about themselves is to talk about other people. And it's an unfortunate type of generation and world that we live in, especially with what we see on social media and stuff that feeds that. But, I think getting a mentor, this is the number one thing I can suggest. Someone that's already where you are, and learning from them, and then applying it to yourself. Like, I have a mentorship for my business, and I have tons of clients right now where I teach them how to make beats. And it's just a business. Once you understand that, your mind completely changes.
Wait, kind of give us the whole package. So obviously you're a music producer and you're trying to sell beats, but you utilize YouTube and Instagram. You build your personal brand so that you can like build an audience, build a brand, and maybe get indirect sales from that. Because of course you can get sales, or you can get conversions from Instagram or Facebook ads. But once you build that brand and people just mess with you, they're gonna buy from you naturally, right? Is that like kind of what you're trying to do, to sell beats and create a business around that? Is that the main frame?
My business is it's going to be tons of things. It's not going to just be music.
Okay.
So like, I'm going to be doing ads for companies that have nothing to do with music. Eventually, I'm going to be scaling up to companies where they'll pay me $15,000 a month to run their business, social media platform, and presence and brand management.
But general, is that, or just music, like in the music industry, or can it be any brand?
Any brand, like clothes, restaurant, stocks, whatever. Like, that's there's so much more when you know how to do ads. You can actually start running a business on teaching people how to do ads. So I'm also working on a clothing line too as well. I have a lot of connections. I have a cousin who was in Italy. She did a lot of runway stuff, and like really she was very in the mix of the fashion world down there. And she would make the clothes, and so I have that. My brother's a lawyer, and another important thing is trademarking your name. Because I had this funny thing that happened to me. I had this old producer name called Born Major, and I was like super happy about it. It sounded cool. I got this girl to like say Born Major in a cool way, so I can have that as a producer tag, which I recommend every producer has if they want to make money, or else anyone can steal your beats. You need your stamp on the beat. So I had Born Major, and I looked everywhere on the internet to make sure no one had it. And I thought I found like no one had it. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna run with this. And it was doing well. My videos were getting like 20, 30,000 like in like about 4 or 5 days. It was doing well on Instagram. And then all of a sudden I looked it up and I found on YouTube this guy called Traylon Born Major. And I was like, oh man. And this is the thing. I was already in the process of trademarking that name. Trademarking means that once you have it, no one can use it without your permission. If they use it, you can shut down your business. It protects your brand, and it builds status and growth of your business. It's very important when it comes to business, especially when you turn into a corporate business. Mine's an LLC right now, but still. So by the way, for people who don't know what trademarking is, it's when you see a name and then you see that little TM that people always see and they never would understand what it meant. That's trademark. So this guy was already, if you didn't trademark the name but you were already using it for commerce for people to buy music, say on Apple, buy your songs on Apple Music or Google Play, whatever, through distribution companies such as DistroKid and TuneCore and whatever else, right? If you do that, right, you already have your stuff up for sale, even though you didn't trademark it. Someone finds the name without knowing you, then they try to trademark it. And all of a sudden, a year later, this guy's really big. And then you're just like, no, that's my name. Then all of a sudden, because you already started to make sales and sell stuff with that name, you could do something which is called a petition to cancel. And you could shut down his whole business. My brother's told me tons of things about big rappers, even had their name, but another company was using the name before them, and their stuff had to get shut down. And they're the rapper. The other people just had a clothing line. Can you believe how evil people are? So, that stuff is very important. Yeah, man. You just gotta. So I recommend that people, look when they find a name, check everywhere on the internet. Check Google, check SoundCloud, check iTunes, check Amazon, Google Play, check Pandora, check YouTube especially, check everywhere to see if anyone's using that name, even if it's not music. Because what happens is, if that's the case, then what you have to do is go to GoDaddy or Whois, which is a domain company, and you go and check and see if someone has taken the domain. If it says taken, then I don't recommend using it. I mean, you can, but it's kind of shaky waters because you never know what will happen a few years later. So if I kept Born Major, this guy saw eventually, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
You can get lucky and think the guy he doesn't know about law and stuff like that. That's just bad energy to be, floating on for years. That's not you want to feel comfortable with your brand. You don't want to feel on edge, for the rest of your life with that brand. You want to be comfortable. So
I do feel, before I even say this, I use this website called Namecheck, and you write the name that you want. And literally in every platform, even from the website to all the social media, it checks if that name has been taken. And you can see it all in one dashboard. It'll be really easy. Instead of going to GoDaddy, then on Instagram, then on Twitter, all independently, you kind of save time, right? Mm-hmm. But I do feel if you're going to create a business, a lot of people say, hey, wait until your business is established and then form the LLC. So if you have cash flow, then form the LLC. Don't do it right away because you don't know if your business is gonna do well in 3-6 months. And if it does, then you establish the LLC. What do you think about that?
I see what people are saying about that. I mean, I understand just to see if it has cash flow. But it's not it's not super expensive to create the LLC. Like I'm in Maryland, so I did it with the state of Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just have it to have it. I mean, if you don't end up using it, you don't end up using it. I had another company that I just stopped using because so many people are using it, just like kind of coinciding with another famous rapper. So I stopped using it. So just that's not a big deal. But if you're just trying to save time, like I don't want to go through all the process of filing stuff and getting like, a federal tax ID and all this stuff like that, then yeah, you could see if it scales. But I recommend at least, instead of, you don't have to get an LLC, but at least, do that name check thing like you said, and check everywhere. And
Yeah.
the domain is open, get the domain for $199 or however much it is, just so that no one can take it. And then you're good. So if it does get traffic and you start to, blow up, then you have a website to use, but if not, then you still have the website. It is what it is. You leave it there, but at least you still have it. You don't have to worry about that, because the worst thing would be to get established, then someone has your website. Like you don't want to, you would really avoid anything with .nets, .cos, because that's not, most people know .com and feel safe with that. So, you gotta, I just recommend just getting those big baskets out of the way and just moving in a way where you just know you're going to be set either way.
Yeah, I just want to go back for a second. I'm so kind of confused. Because I know on your website, you have the music stuff there, but you said that you want to eventually, or maybe in the process of doing it, of creating your own like agency. Is that going to be independent from what you're doing, or is it going to be under the same umbrella?
Is it going to be under still Vollarti or like another?
Yeah.
I am not sure about that. I've thought about that. I have time to think about it. But I'm not sure. I have other domains and stuff that I found. And I already have the stuff too, and everything is taken. So there's no way anyone can take it. But I don't know. That's a good idea. Most likely, but this new domain I have, I think I can use that for sure. So, if so, it is. It's cool because my brother's a lawyer. He could just, get it done very easily.
I was going to say, there are different industries. You have music and then you have advertising, which is like, it's something completely different. I thought you're going to kind of run both simultaneously,
I used to actually be an actor. I'm from Maryland, but I moved to Hollywood. And I, was acting and stuff, like doing like little commercial, gigs at like New York Film Academy right next to Warner Brothers studio. I lived right in North Hollywood, so it's right next to Warner Brothers. Did other commercials and did some short films and stuff like that. Me and my brother actually hosted seminars in DC called Acting in the Industry, where we would invite famous actors and film directors, casting directors, and we would fly them out from New York and LA to come and speak to people from DC and Maryland, Virginia, who want to go to LA, because that's really where all that stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
LA and New York, and really, that's wherever all the musicians want to go. Hollywood, that's like fantasy land and all this stuff like that, where everyone's just rich and I've been there for like 5-6 years. I'm so used to all that stuff.
Like the vibes I heard LA. I've never been there. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but from what I heard, at least from YouTubers, is that it's overrated, I guess. Is that true in your case? What do you?
Hollywood, LA is nice. LA is super nice. I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the best places to go to. So I wouldn't listen to people like that. I'd still go, definitely. But I think you got to understand it's a different place. That's a place where a lot of fame was already. There's stars in the ground, like all that famous Hall of Fame. That's right in West Hollywood. There's like Calabasas, that's where Drake. It's just, I've been around all those places already, just driving through there like nothing. It's just, you just understand, like, it's more showy entertainment. People are entertainers, so that comes with some fake people too. But there's fake people in every state and country.
Yeah.
It's just more TVs there, so more script stuff that's not real. And because I've been an actor, I just but that's a place of entertainment. There's a lot of fakes, but there's a lot of cool people, and it's a place. It's definitely a business mobile type of place, especially New York too.
Mm-hmm. Where do you kind of consider yourself more? I mean, of course, you're building your own personal brand and you're free to do anything you want. No one can say anything about that. But do you consider yourself more as like a music producer or an entrepreneur or both? You don't really kind of choose a side.
Like like if placements come, they come. That's whatever to me. I would
Uh-huh.
say I'm more of an entrepreneur. I
Okay.
want to have several businesses, man. I want to make millions of dollars before I'm 30. I want to have millions of dollars. And I've seen how these people do it. And there's a certain thing. And I'm telling you, if you think not marketing and just trying to organically, you might get lucky. There are those people who get lucky. But the reality of the fact is everything's promotion. You see, okay, let me break it down for people who really understand. You see something on TV, right? A commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an ad. That's an ad. That's an ad, and it's called sales copy because they're pitching something. Buy this, and you can get this off. That's when they're speaking that. That's called sales copy. You'll see stuff on the screen like only $2,500 real price, only $25, and that's sales copy. It's a psychological thing that people use for people to be like, oh, they see a big number, but it's only that much. It's there's a whole strategy to it, and on drawing in clients and stuff like that, and customers and things like that. So when people understand that, so most definitely, I'm definitely an entrepreneur. Like, and another thing, I'm only 24, but people need to understand this. A wise man told me, he said, if you're 21 or something, create an IRA account. An IRA account is an account that you can have, and you can have it like 21, put $100 or maybe even $5, whatever. Just put some money in every time you get paid or every month. And if you put like $100 in, I remember checking the estimate thing. You would have about $1 million from that, 1 million to 2 million from that by the time you're 60. I believe that's what it was like. So like, these are all the smart things. Save your money. All this stuff is so important. Save your money. There are tons of rappers, if they didn't have their label, they'd be broke. There's tons of rappers who are on their labels and are broke because they didn't make enough sales to pay back. So then they have no return on investment for themselves because all the money they have, they owe to the label. So save your money. Like, some of the richest people now, the rappers, they're like having credit cards now. Sometimes they have a whole bunch of cash, maybe for a look or something. But at the end of the day, now these people are getting savings accounts. These people are getting IRA accounts, so that's a retirement account. That's what an IRA is. There's a Roth IRA. That's what I use. They're investing in stuff like water, solar energy, gold, all the things that really matter. Gold, especially because gold is the real money. It's not paper. Just tons of things. Like, I haven't been really into the crypto thing. I'm not really a fan of that. Or I'm not a fan. I just don't know much about that side. But that's what I'm saying. I'm definitely an entrepreneur, clothes. There's so many things that will open. I'm looking at people like Jeff Bezos, like Ty Lopez, like Tony Robbins, like what's his name? Eric Thomas. What's his name? Warren Buffett. Dan Locke. Dan Pena, the $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? These
Yeah.
people who like bought Amazon and all that. I think it was Jeff Bezos. Like, they all say you have to develop a thick skin. It's the reality of the world. I'm growing and realizing that in my maturity and growth as an entrepreneur. You have to develop thick skin and realize when you're doing something interesting, when you're getting a lot of views and nobody's getting views, people are not going to be happy. People are going to hate on you. And I love what this guy said. He said, if you can't take that, you know, sometimes in the beginning it was hard for me. I was like, dang, like a lot of people just hate, but I realized it just comes with the territory. If they're hating, you're doing something good. You
Yeah.
get people's attention. And he said, if you can't take that, don't do anything interesting. And then if the crowd started laughing, because it's true. Like if you can't just ignore that, you know, then you might as well have a normal type life. You know, don't try to branch out and be a big thing, because when you step out into the world, there's some people who are just hateful, and that just is what it is. It comes with the territory of you stepping from that one stage to trying to get yourself out there. There's a rapper like Lil Baby. He said, I know that they hate on me, but I don't read comments, because it's like it doesn't matter who it is. It could be the nicest person in the world or the most liked person in the world. It doesn't matter. You go on YouTube, and you'll see it'll be the best person. There'll still be 5 dislikes, 100 dislikes. You know what I'm saying? Out of the 10,000 likes or whatever, you know, because there's just people that don't want to see you come up. Forget about them. People's mindset. Who cares what people think? Don't do it for them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who cares about this random person on their couch? That's all they can do. Like, you are here, you grinding, you running this podcast. I'm making music. People are making beats. Other people making music. Other people are running the businesses. Let them talk. You making money. You try to make money. You are courageous. And these people who want to get there, you gotta have faith, and you gotta just do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, thinking of like the bigger picture, this might be very, very subjective, but what's like your angle or your ultimate goal? I know you said you want to make millions and millions of dollars before 30, but do you have like a set goal in mind and how to do that? And I know this is going to be very subjective because, you know, the Amazon example, you know, Jeff Bezos just sold books. Now he's just selling literally everything, selling data. Freaking has all this tech. He's literally everything. And I don't think he planned that initially when he first formed Amazon. You might change into something drastically different, a complete 180, and just kill it in that respect. But do you kind of have like an angle right now that you want to pursue and really watch it scale?
I want to watch scale. I would think the mentorships, that stuff, and mentorships in music production. I mean, really, what I'm trying to see scale is all the things I'm talking about right now. All the things I'm talking about, everything, like the clothing line, I'm working with a graphic designer. I'm almost done with that. And then I have my cousin in Italy. But really what I'm trying to scale, if you're trying to think like, you're trying to tell me like right at the moment.
So you have multiple things. You have multiple businesses? All right.
Multiple things in my business that I'm doing. Multiple things. So there's something called, you heard of ClickFunnels?
Yeah.
So I'm using that too.
Because the reason why I asked this is because I think a lot of entrepreneurs or people who are trying to become entrepreneurs, and they have so many ideas and they pursue those different ideas across different industries. You know, if they do everything at once, then they're not going to do anything at all. But if they have one business and then they go for different revenue streams, then that's more possible because it's within the same industry, right? But in your case, you're kind of doing digital marketing, the clothing brand within the music, that makes sense too. But if you have the digital marketing agency within your own music producing company as well, that would make sense. I mean, everyone's different. Everyone has their own mode of working. Are you able to operate having different ideas within different industries and make stuff happen?
Like, I totally understand what you're saying. That's true. If you have way too much stuff, you won't be able to get anything done. I 100% agree with that. I'm not saying, like, I've had more ideas than this. Trust me.
No.
I'm not, and I just realized that's too much. I'm not gonna say, like, if you have like, you want to be a painter and then you want to be a rapper and you want to be a vet and you know what I'm saying, and do all of them at once. No, you're gonna go crazy, man. Most of the stuff I'm doing at the moment is catering towards music.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
like the ads and stuff right now are for music at the moment. That's
Okay,
when you said like as I get bigger, of course, I want to branch into other companies like I was saying, but everything is
okay,
really starting here. If you look at most rappers and people who get big or actors and stuff, once they finally get a presence and get reputation and their business grows or something, now they have enough money, enough connections, enough people that are watching that will buy that they can be like, oh, I'm gonna try this now because I know I have a fan base, I have customers. That's when you really can try to branch out more. You know, you can dip your feet in the water and see if you're good enough, then yeah. But you know, definitely find a foundation, a niche. Definitely first. Definitely.
hmm you see these rappers, like you might think like Lil Wayne and Jay-Z, you might be like, hey, these guys just fell out of the game. But that's the thing. They already made their millions of dollars within the rap game, but with that same money, they invested in other businesses and they became multimillionaires, billionaires. It's kind of that first step, even with acting too. Once you make your first million with your skill and craft of acting or making music, you use that cash flow, use that money that you made from that craft to other businesses. And then from there, you can really make the big bucks.
I mean, yeah, you said it best. I these rappers like Lil Wayne and stuff, this dude will ever forever be one of the greatest lyricists ever because he never wrote anything down. You know, and he's just fired. The thing is like, you know, he made Young Money, like, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, like he was ahead of Young Money, and then he was signing Drake and all, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he's, you know, he's doing smart stuff. He's not just being a rapper. He realizes that he could turn it into a business. That's what people don't get. It's not, think bigger. It's not just about that, just marketing. Not big right now if you're just starting or you're not there yet, but think about at least running ads by yourself for yourself. You know, like even when you're not a business, just run some ads or just promote, just market, figure out how to do that in your means and your budget. Not saying like, you know, just do something like it's easy for me. I'm saying for in your means, you know, and Jay-Z is a genius, you know. Jay-Z is a billionaire for a reason. His album sales, but his other business ventures. I believe he bought part of or all of the Brooklyn Nets, right?
I think it's part owner, right?
Right, right. He's a genius. That's what I'm saying about Jeff Bezos and the Amazon. They're buying businesses. That's the smartest thing to do. Buy a business, buy land. I want to eventually own land too. These are just things, but I'm not, you know, doing it now. But these are the goals, you know.
Yeah. You
That's
got the
the
mindset.
yeah, that's the real money up there. When you can buy businesses, land, stocks, or like, you know, own shares. That's real money, you know. So
Yeah. Now, of course, having this mindset, maybe you're born with it. Maybe you read something, you had an epiphany. Not everyone has this mindset, of being that ambitious. What kind of made you like that ambitious? Like, was it like a podcast, a book, or just your genetics that, that made you seem like that or think like that?
well, I was always ambitious, but I'm not gonna just feed myself with a gold spoon like that. Because I was at a point where I was very negative and down on myself, where I felt like I wasn't going to be good. I felt like maybe my stuff wouldn't sound as good. I was too concerned with what other people thought, and I just was like seeing things glass empty. You know, just the mindset was not ambitious. You know, you can't be ambitious if you're always talking down on yourself. You know, criticizing yourself all the time. And then I just started getting better. I love music as a passion and just really practicing the craft daily. Like when I get up, I go straight to my office all day. Clients, whatever, on the write stuff down, get a scheduling planner. I highly recommend. You cannot have all these things in your head and and not forget one of them, you know? And
Yeah.
and I would just do that, and then I started getting better. And then I just realized, oh, marketing. Oh, I see. Like I've seen it before. Just like I was just like other people where I see sponsor stuff. I'm like, the heck are these? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
those ads on YouTube where they're like right before you're watching a video. Those ones specifically, sometimes it would depends on the ad would be useful, but some of those would annoy me because I'm like, I'm trying to watch a video. This isn't, you know what I'm saying? And I just never understood what they were. But now I get it. And those people running those ads, those people, it's the smartest thing you can do. And so I just started to believe in myself, really. You believe in yourself, and tons of motivational speakers like Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, they helped me. You know, Denzel Washington, he says, ease is a greater threat to success than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to success than hardship, which means that if you're just always like trying to play it safe and never trying to take a risk, then that's more of a threat to you becoming successful than actually going through it to get better, which is what I had to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of when you make your beats, do you try to make as many beats as possible, make a package and sell it, and then you run your ads and try to get those conversions? Or what's your strategy on making your cash flow on that?
It depends like on what deal I'm trying to do. I may do like, you know, like I may run some, put up some beats and then, run an ad or something like that. But I say something that would fit, like be very intriguing to somebody that would make them want to, buy it. And I mean, it depends, but I'm not like, I don't really rush, like
Yeah.
I just enjoy it, but I know there's a business, so I take it serious at the same time, but I still enjoy it. I have fun with this stuff. And another thing that I'm also doing is I'm working with some mentors. I can't say their names due to legal reasons, but I'm working with some mentors, and I'm actually trying to get my music on TV and movies too. And that's called film scoring. So any commercial you hear with a hip hop beat or any music in the back, that's called a film score. That's called a score, which is just a beat or a song. It could be with vocals on it, or it's one term is a score, the other term is a cue, CUE. And all these producers and rappers, you know how they get their royalties and get plaques because they have a pro. A pro is what gives you your royalties. There's two of them. Well, just the main ones I know, BMI and ASCAP. And that's how you get your royalties. Like Nick Mira, he got producer of the year, hip hop and rap producer, R&B producer of the year. This guy I got to give it to him, he's a very talented producer. And people like Internet Money, they really understand what they're doing with running their business and stuff. And they have tons of people hating on them too.
Yo, speaking about royalties, I was listening to I was watching this YouTube video on 50 Cent when he dropped his album with the song with the In the Club. I forgot the name of the album. But anyways, it was like in 2003. He had his engineer, and he was like, hey, the engineer charged him like $35,000 for like the whole studio time and whatnot. But 50 Cent was like, yo, like, just charge me like $10,000 and you'll get 1 point. You'll get 1% of all the sales. And that engineer was like, nah, bro, I want the money now. And he didn't take that 1% royalty. And, fast forward 6 months and he had like over 10 million of his copies sold, and he made millions of dollars. And he would have been a millionaire off that 1% if he had that royalty deal. But he kind of opted for the money now and wasn't kind of not financial literate, but he didn't have that business mindset to understand that opportunity of owning 1% of all the sales that 50 Cent made on his album. And he just, he could have been a millionaire. And it's just so important to kind of know or have that business sense. And I guess the way to understand that or get that is either like reading books. Like you said, you mentioned all these great entrepreneurs, like Tony Robbins, all those guys. Read like their books, their podcast. And of course, you're not going to learn everything overnight, but if you kind of just put yourself in that mindset of trying to understand finances, business, I think it's almost essential because you don't want to lose an opportunity. Sometimes you have an idea, but you don't know what to do with it. I think it's kind of essential to know what business is, what finances are to some degree, and not be totally like know nothing about it, right?
Yeah. Like I always make sure that you ask for 50% of the publishing share as a producer. You got to take care of yourself. But yeah, I mean, sometimes like it depends on who the person is, like, but I would still get 50% of the publishing share. I would still make sure that you get your stuff on the back end. I don't know the situation with 50 and them, but that sucks that it turned around and he made all that. But some people are just eager to get the money up front, and maybe he had, I can't assume his situation, that engineer, maybe he's been in situations where he hasn't gotten any money back or something like that. And he saw 50 as someone he can make some money from. So, I mean, that's really their situation, but I recommend definitely signing with a pro, having, beat stars, they have contracts for you, or get a lawyer to draw you up a contract. Stuff like that, just to protect yourself, so you make sure that you're getting the royalties for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's small amount of royalties, but it's cool because the great thing about it is if the rapper goes platinum, then you go platinum. Your beat was the one that made them go platinum. That's
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yo, quick question. I always assumed that, rappers today, they can have great numbers on streams. Say they have, like, for example, 20,000 monthly listeners on what is it, Spotify, SoundCloud. They're having good views on YouTube. YouTube they can make a lot of money from, but I heard on Spotify, you don't really get paid that much if you're an independent artist. You get like 10 cents for every 1,000 listens. I always thought if you had like 20,000, 10,000 monthly listeners, and you're making bank, but that's not the case. And that's why a lot of these rappers they're kind of upset at Spotify, because not only that, if they're signed to a label, say Spotify gives the label 80% of what they make, then the label would give them like half of that. So they're not getting the full 80% from Spotify, right? And so they're already getting another cut on top of that. And another interesting thing was that from another podcast from Vlad TV, this rapper named Daylight, he's like, yeah, man, like I don't put any of my music on these streaming devices. I literally put it on my website and have people download it, my whole album, for like $10. And the host, Vlad, was like, yo, that's like a pretty dumb idea, because everyone has Spotify. Like literally everyone has Spotify.
So yeah,
But he said, like, no, bro, like, I'm actually making money because my true fans, the people that love me, want to listen to my music. And if it's not on Spotify, on YouTube, anywhere else, they have to go to my website and pay $10. If they're real fans, they'll pay me $10. And he said he made $1 million+ straight to his pocket, because it was his website, his domain. He made his own moves, and he said other artists are doing it as well. And he believes that people are going to shy away from Spotify, and they're going to rely on their own streaming devices or their own websites to make their own album sales. But I don't know. I don't know about that, but that's what he said. It seems interesting, though.
I mean, I get why Vlad was probably like, that's pretty stupid, because a lot of people use SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Pandora, a
Yeah,
lot
to
of
get more exposure.
yeah, to get more exposure. So, because that's where everyone is.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I don't know, like in terms of a business, like, if he made that much in sales, then that means people have to keep going there. Then he's definitely going to gain a loyal following that will, and that it's 100% his income.
Yeah.
So, because when you're assigned to a label, there's different people that, take chunks of the thing, so whatever works, man, but just make sure it's a smart business plan, think it over, draw it out, write it out. I mean, really analyze it, will this scale or make profit, that's pretty cool. I didn't hear about that until now.
You think, like, if you're an actor or music artist, you should always have like an agent or a lawyer at some point. If you're just by yourself, you're going to be overwhelmed with both making the music and taking care of the paperwork.
When you're yeah, I recommend having a lawyer. I just was lucky my brother became one, but I definitely, you got to read the fine print, man. I always offer a contract for the people joining my mentorship. I want them to know exactly what they're getting. I'm just a person who doesn't scheme people. I'm just a person who understood. Like, I was just born that way, to like, I was just a good person. you know. But I've seen a lot of people and heard a lot of cases where people didn't really read it. They saw money and got super hyped, signed it, slaves, you know, like, so definitely have a lawyer, especially if you don't understand the terms. Some of those terms are confusing. So definitely get a lawyer to look it over. You know, my brother, he does contract law specifically for contracts and entertainment law for artists. So his name is RDX Films, RDX, and then Films on Instagram or .com. So he does that. He's an attorney, you know. But I definitely recommend that. And then you were saying the you were saying to get someone like a lawyer. What else? What was the other
Or an
thing?
agent.
And an agent for acting. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can try. You know, you can try to get some roles. You know, you can probably get roles, but I recommend getting, you know, an agent and a manager for sure when you're definitely in the acting industry. You know, some of this stuff is really about, you can be really good and your marketing could be good, but sometimes it's about who you know, who can get you in that door, who can get the music to the artists in the studio while they're in the studio, you know, who can, you know, those people are the people that you need to get connected into. You might get lucky with an ad though, and you never know, someone will just find you. But
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, those people, you know, you gotta, connections are important. That's why networking is super important. So an agent and manager, you know, they have those skills already to go look. They know where to look. They have the connections to the TV stations, TV networks. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I feel that if you're comparing actors and musicians, it's much easier to be a musician because there's so many platforms out there to make it and to be found. However, with acting, you know, supposedly you have people who kind of control your destiny, and they say the hub of everything is in Hollywood, right? And if you're a great actor, no matter what, if the guy doesn't like you, then you're not going to get that role. However, if you kind of make your own movies, or you know, maybe like Justin Bieber, he was found on YouTube by Usher, and like he's huge now, right? And many other actors many other musicians on Spotify and SoundCloud. But for acting, it's like a different story because you know it's a lot more of a process of making maybe short films. So maybe if you utilize YouTube, but when you see these comedians on Instagram, they don't do stand-up comedy in these huge venues, but they kind of use their personal brand to you know, promote themselves, and now they have a huge following, and they're definitely leveraging their own personal brand and monetizing it. And that's the beauty of like social media nowadays. If you want to be someone, be something, whatever it is, you got to be on social media because people will want to go to you eventually. You don't have to go out and find people to do business. Eventually, if your personal brand is big enough, people want to work with you.
very interesting, very well said. And the fact about it is, with this virus that just hit, people are starting to realize, like, hey, we need to get on social media. You know, all businesses, because what if another virus hits again, and you didn't learn from this first one to get on social media? Then you're out again. You know how many people lost their jobs, you know, and lost their businesses, fell under. I mean, it's you know, so I recommend social media for sure. And it's so funny. You said acting and music are different. Yeah, because for acting, I remember I had to get like headshots. I had to memorize lines. I had to go to so many auditions, and you know, it really is like that. There's just so much to it. Like this headshot, audition, lines, acting class, and like so it's definitely a lot. It's a lot more. It's a lot more time consuming. Definitely. But I mean, you know, it depends really what level you're at. But just starting out as an actor and just starting out as a musician, acting, I would say, takes a lot more time, a lot more stuff you have to do, and a lot more of a budget. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Yeah, I heard the barriers to entry in acting. But like you said, you kind of need an agent, you know, and agents aren't free; they're mad expensive. I mean, I don't know about now. You can find anything online, virtual lawyers and whatnot. But yeah, I heard the barrier to entry because of those classes as well can be very expensive. Um, But like you said, yeah, building a personal brand is like the modern day resume, and you have to be on that. In your personal brand, what kind of social media platforms do you mainly use?
Okay. Instagram,
Instagram.
Instagram and YouTube, 100%,
Okay.
100%. Twitter's cool, but like, maybe when you're like, it's cool. It's still it has its purpose, but Facebook is cool. I have a Facebook fan page. It's like at 13,000. I don't really like. It's really for me Instagram and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like really the main things people are using now. Oh, I'm I just started Twitch. I'm about to start getting on Twitch myself. Like, I see people like producers, they're going to Twitch. That's smart. And people TikTok, they're utilizing these things. Those are like people are coming off of millions of dollars from using those things.
Yeah, I
So,
think if you can utilize all the platforms, then that's the best move. It can be really challenging, I'm not gonna lie, to literally use every social media platform out there and post content consistently. You know, I think maybe a good idea is, yeah, focus on like one or two social media platforms, and then when you get comfortable, you can add on another one, because it could be overwhelming if you have TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and you will need to produce like 3 pieces of content every day. That's going to be like very overwhelming. But I think once you get into the groove of things, you can add on another platform one by one, because I guess the more exposure you have, the better. You never know who's watching you and eventually want to work with you.
yeah, because some people are enjoying though. Um, they're enjoying doing several things like Jake Paul and those people. They love shooting multiple videos. Like after a while, that be like these YouTubers make millions of dollars off of YouTube monetization and revenue. Like, that just becomes their job. And, so, people even use Snapchat, like,
Oh yeah.
ads on Snapchat. Like I haven't used it in a while, but like I see it. There's ads and like there's places where people where you subscribe to people like that. Those they can run ads. Like have you heard of those? Like hey Ace Family, you know what I'm
On
saying?
Snap.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
seen. I don't use Snap like that anymore, but I mean, their platform is still pretty big for like Gen Z and millennials, and their platform has changed almost dramatically. It has become very businessy. If that makes sense.
because people start to realize that that's what this is all about. Yes, you have product. And yes, it's great. And yes, it is about the passion. It is about the passion. No one don't ever let anybody tell you it's not about the passion. Don't be blown and up like hate what you're doing. That's not what I'm saying. Love what you're doing, but understand there's a business side of it where you can actually make money. You can get it out to people. You can help other people. I want to help people with my stuff. That's why I'm doing the mentorship. It's not all about money for me. It's about bringing value to my customers and actually having them at one place. And after my mentorship, after they work with me, after we talk, or after they've already gone here, or they've just gotten something out of whatever we do. So that's really my purpose and what Vollarti is all about.
What do you do with your mentees? What's kind of like the program that you have going on with them?
Like I teach them, the basics of FL Studio 20 to like basics of FL Studio 20 all the way to like advanced stuff like in terms of mixing and mastering,
Okay.
so that the product is final for the artist.
Oh, so you're teaching them how to produce the music, right? And what about the ads to kind of promote their music and themselves? Is that something that you include?
I I might add that as another like level or something for the mentorship, but I'm just teaching them how to make music right now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's something I could definitely help people with because once you understand how to do it properly and get your network, your niche, and the people that will actually watch your stuff, you're start to scale in terms of views and conversions and stuff. So yeah.
Now, speaking of like Facebook ads is definitely another art in of itself. It's not easy, I think. Like how long did it take you to learn it? Maybe you're still learning it, but how long did it take you to get comfortable with it at least and see like an ROI and, an
Like
engagement or something?
for me, for Facebook, I'm still learning.
Okay.
You know, but Instagram, like in-app ads too work for me. they work very well. But I'm still learning Facebook. Facebook Business Manager is a very complex thing. Like not really, but there's a lot of things to it. You know, you got to understand and track pixels and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting thing. I see a lot of people doing businesses on that too. Learn how to do Facebook ads, and I've tried to work with some people, like try to hire them as mentors, and they just didn't help me at all. So a lot of people claim that they know something. Definitely check them out. See if they have some review. See if they have something. I know with Google Ads I'm good at. I'm seeing it in Instagram. I'm seeing my stuff. I'm seeing reviews happen and stuff for me. And I have reviews and stuff on Facebook, and so people actually are liking what they're getting out of my mentorship and what they're getting from me. So, and I'm about to have a website, Vollarti.com, that's about to be launched in a few days. I have different websites like Vollarti Beats. That's my BeatStars page. Vollarti Music. That's like a specific special deal I do for music artists where they can get 5 free beats, and then there's a special offer in there for them. And through the use of funnels, right? So then I have one for TV and films and stuff like that. So I'm basically utilizing my brand to the fullest.
Are you trying to build an email list as well?
Oh yeah, I already use that for sure.
Yeah.
I get that through my funnel for sure. Yeah.
Is that? I always ask everyone this, and everyone has different opinions. They say like, yeah, email marketing is a lost cause. But is it still something to really consider or to take seriously?
Definitely. Or else all these people wouldn't be doing it. Or else you wouldn't be getting all these promotion emails in your Gmail account. You wouldn't be getting promotion emails from Zara or Louis Vuitton or whatever company just keep saying, oh, check this sale out. That's them doing email marketing. It's very alive and well. And definitely during the virus, because people can't go outside. Whoever's watching this and whoever will watch this, email marketing is essential, especially now. And because of the virus, even when things clear up, maybe a year or two from now, still realize that this might happen again. Always do that. What if, God forbid, I pray that it doesn't happen. I thank God that it didn't happen, that it's not going to happen ahead of time. And God just, He works out that way, keeps it straight, protects me from that, and protect everyone, whoever's watching this. But what if social media crashes? Your followers are gone. So email marketing, all of a sudden you could just print off all those emails. And now you have like maybe differentiate the ones who bought from you. And you have like, say, 300 buyers that you have now, even if your Instagram goes off, or 1 million buyers or people who bought in general. That way you can send out a big campaign. You'll be like, oh, I'm doing this, a new thing. And then people are like, oh, I remember this guy, he got fired, blah, 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 blah. He got a website too. It's not just Instagram. He has his own website. So that's why I'm saying check your domain, because it's good to have a website like Daylight, just in case that stuff fails, Got to be prepared. Got to.
What do you use to make your email flows for your email marketing list?
I use Aweber right now. There's MailChimp, but I don't use MailChimp. There's been some issues with that, I've heard. But I use Aweber is the one I'm using right now.
Okay, yeah, I've never heard anyone using Aweber. Everyone literally uses like MailChimp, kind of like people just use Shopify compared to what's the other one? Wix. But I mean, whatever works, and there's so many different platforms that can work for you. But yeah, it's true what you said. If social media crashes or the organic reach is down, for example, like Instagram or like Facebook, the last thing that you would have, or something that's still an asset, is the email list, and that's important, because I heard like a lot of e-commerce businesses, they would get like, say, a couple, like 5%, maybe even 10% of their total sales come from email marketing. And before, they didn't believe in it. And that comes to say, like, you can't really talk trash unless you try it out yourself. Because if you try it out yourself and it works, you kind of shut yourself up, right? But if you don't try it and you say, oh, it's not going to work, I mean, you don't know it because you haven't tried it, right? And of course, you can literally go on Reddit, Quora, and find a response like, hey, this is like, for example, I'm pretty sure if you Google, is making a clothing brand still a good idea? People are going to say, dude, don't do it. It's mass saturated. You're going to get no results. But then other people are like, hey, if you build your brand the way you want it, and create a story behind it and work on it, you're going to get sales. You're going to become big, right? So there's two different perspectives. And you may not know what to do, but unless you try it yourself, you're going to figure it out on your own.
It seems like you got a great mindset of your own. It seems like you have some knowledge. You have a good knowledge too, and I'm glad you invited me on this podcast, man. I love talking with people who understand, about the stuff of business already, and just being, optimistic and seeing the possibilities that come with, just advertising and just content in general, and really trying to get yourself out there and possibilities of business. But you said something. You were saying, yeah, if people, there's always people like, don't do this, don't do that. It didn't work for them, so they're telling everyone else, just don't do it. There was this. Have you seen Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah, like 5 times maybe.
Yeah. Remember when they were like shooting basketball and the son got mad and threw the ball? Jaden Smith threw the ball on the ground, and then he said, "Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't do something." He said that. He said,
not even him, not even his dad. Like,
yeah, not even me. He said, people who can't do something, they want to tell you you can't do it. He said, if you got a dream, you want to do something, you go get it. Period. It's a fact. It's true. Because they can't do it, like, I mean, I'll still go check out sometimes Google. That's the point, to ask questions, other things, but in Quora and Reddit just to hear it. But I'm not gonna just, if it's something that makes sense, then yeah, and I'll research further. I wouldn't just look at Quora and then find some person personally with their own biased situation and whatever lifestyle they had without us even knowing their lifestyle. Could have been doing bad stuff on the personally spiritual. Who knows? We don't know.
yeah.
So I would have to look for myself in other things too as well. So, double check. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, dude, literally anything's possible if you put in that work. Like, Nate Robinson, I'm pretty sure everyone told him, dude, you're too short to play in the NBA. Well, you're wasting your time playing ball. But look at him, like he was a really good pro player, and he defied all odds.
Right.
Right?
And then what's his name? Back in the day,
Weber.
Spud Webb.
Spud Webb, yeah. That guy was like ultra hops, and he was like mad short.
5'7", like dunking on people. So if there's one thing that I hope everyone hears, like, I hope they get all of this, and I'm happy for the people that see this, because you just got tons of gems from me and the host of this podcast. But there's one thing, man, like, just if you want to do something, put in the work, grind. Don't listen to other people telling you what to do. If you believe you can do it, then you can do it. If you've mastered your mind on like moving out what people say, knowing who you are, knowing why you're doing something, having a why for why you're doing something, and a strong why. I mean, like, the sky is the limit, man. You gotta just try, though. You can't just not try, though.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that just talk. They just, for 30 years later, they still be talking. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
At some point, you gotta put some stuff into action. You have to.
Yeah, you definitely gotta try something. That'll be a big regret if you don't like use this opportunity now with social media, especially, and create something. I think it's easy to create a business, but it's hard to create a successful one. But it's easy to create one. So just get started.
Right. Yeah, man.
So yeah, bro, Kobe, it was a pleasure like having you on the show. Like you said, I think we got a lot of gems across different points, within music, Facebook ads, like mindset, entrepreneurship. If anyone wants to know more about you, know more about making music, where can they find you?
YouTube. You can go to YouTube and type in Vollarti. V as in Victor, O as in olive or owl, and so VO, and then L as in liver, then L as in liver again, A as in apple, R as in rice, T as in tiger, and I as in ice or igloo. So Vollarti. You can find me on YouTube. I just really right now I'm sending people to my YouTube and my Instagram, and it's just Vollarti. There's no the real Vollarti, and if there ever comes a time, those people are not me unless it says hacked or something. But I doubt that's gonna happen. So just don't follow fake accounts if there are any.
Sure, bro. It was a pleasure once again. And if they want to find that mentorship, they can also hit you up too, right?
Yeah. You can hit me up. My email is KOBIE at VOLLART music.com. Or you could just DM me on Instagram. I have like dozens of DMs a day.
Yeah, I'll add that to the show notes. So if anyone's listening and they click on the description, they can click on those links and find you directly as well.
Okay, cool, man.
All right, Kobe.
Yeah.
I'm in.